Nishad Singh, who is a former member of Sam Bankman-Fried's inner circle, faced a cross-examination from defense attorney Marc Cohen yesterday. Emily, you were back in court again. Talk to us about some of the key takeaways.
Yeah, so I don't think the cross-examination was quite as exciting as the day before, where you had the prosecution grilling Nishad. I think, look, what the defense is obviously trying to do is undermine the credibility of some of these witnesses. So one of the things that came up was, Nishad making a purchase of a house. This came up again and again. But I think generally speaking, people expected the cross-examination to be a little bit more lively and a little bit more aggressive than it actually was. I'm not sure that we came away with Nishad's credibility being seriously undermined. That's just my opinion from witnessing it.
I feel like we need to have that dramatic music playing the entire time we talk to you. But was there any drama at all? Did the defense pack a punch or land a punch, as CoinDesk has reported that they actually had a small W, if you will, in their cross-examination of Nishad Singh?
Look, the defense is in a difficult position because these witnesses have already pled guilty, right? They're not claiming to be innocent. They've already pled guilty. They're already cooperating with the prosecution, with the government. They've pled guilty to various crimes. So it's kind of hard to further undermine that. Like, we know that they did some things that were not good. We know that they made some poor decisions. So I guess it depends on how you define packing a punch. But I would say that, I'm not sure that we left with any overall change in the dynamic yesterday. So basically, the FBI guy was there to talk about cell phones in extreme detail. So if you ever really wondered, what a cell phone is, how it works, yesterday was was very educational. So basically, the reason he was there, though, was because he was going through basically these cell phone records to establish, Sam Bankman-Fried being in New York. And also, I think he was also establishing kind of like these cell phone communications going through New York. As we know, one of the charges in this case is wire fraud. And we've had many lawyers on the show talking about the definition of wire fraud. Wire fraud basically means that, something like a phone call or an email passed through the United States. And the reason why this is important is because, again, this was not a U.S. exchange. Sam was based in the Bahamas, but it's being tried in a U.S. court. So my understanding, this was a very detailed, he really was talking about, a lot of technical stuff with the cell phone communications. But I think the point of it was to establish a presence in the United States.
Emily, I know you can't speak for the jury, but we've heard about these really lackluster cross-examinations. You've been sitting there. Do the jury look interested? Does it look like they're understanding what's going on? Are they looking a little bit bored?
I really can't speak for the jury at all. I can only speak for, kind of myself. And I will say that myself and some of the other people I've been talking to who have also been watching this, there definitely is a different energy, I think, coming from the prosecution and the defense. Maybe it's just the way that they speak. I don't know. But, the prosecution comes and they're very clear and they're very forceful. And, it's also very clear where they're going, right? You're like, okay, I kind of understand why they're asking that question. But also just the way that they speak and the way that there's sort of theatrical quality that makes it quite easy to follow. The defense, not so much, in my opinion. The defense is a little bit, can come off as a little bit meandering. It can come off as lower energy. And I would imagine, and also the defense, as we've discussed on the show, keeps having tension with the judge over this exact issue where the judge is just kind of like, okay, can we move this on? Why are you repeating yourself? So I would imagine that, yes, this is probably having an impact on at least some people in the jury when you have one side that's pretty easy to follow and the other side that's a little lower energy.
Well, I think Nick's dramatizations are high energy. I think maybe the jury needs to see that as evidence that this is an exciting trial.